Hey guys, this video is about how to not be a moron. Now this is an important video, and if you don't want to be a moron and you don't want your children to be morons, you need to watch this video all the way to the end. This video is about education and reading. Now in this video, I want to talk about the importance of reading and education. Now a lot of people in the West, they don't like to read. They think it's boring. They think school sucks and is boring. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that when I was young. Oh, school sucks, school's boring. But you know what? If you don't go to school and you don't read and you don't get an education, you're an idiot. You're a fucking dumb fuck idiot. And you're going to make poor choices in life. How can you make good choices if you have a lack of information and knowledge? How can you be successful if you don't have enough knowledge and education and information in your head to make good choices? Now, people who don't read and don't educate themselves, they're easy to lie to because they don't know anything. So people who are more educated and knowledgeable than them, they can just lie to you and tell you anything, and you will believe it because you're stupid, because you don't read and fill your head with knowledge and information. Also, you don't do your own research. It's important to do your own research. You can't just trust an authority figure because authority figures lie. And, you know, if you are a person who is not educated and you don't read and you don't fill your head with knowledge and information and you don't know how to look things up and do your own research, then anybody can just come along and tell you anything and you'll believe it because you don't know anything. Don't trust someone who's an authority figure just because they're in a position of power. Do your own research. Question everything. Don't trust anybody. Check up on what they say, do your own research, and see if what they're saying is true. You've probably heard this before, knowledge is power. That's right. The intelligent people are going to rule the world, not dummies who don't know anything and don't read and don't educate themselves. People in the West, they have this culture where they think you're a nerd to be intelligent and to learn things and to read and to have knowledge in your head. Let me tell you something. That nerd label, all it's doing is getting you to be a fucking idiot, a moron that doesn't know anything, and then more intelligent people can rule over you because you're stupid. Now let's take a culture, for instance, that they do value education and they educate their children. Jewish people value education. They will spend a great deal of money and they will put a lot of effort into educating their children and getting their children the finest education and sending them to the best universities. Because Jewish people understand that in order to be successful, you have to be intelligent. And in order to be intelligent, you have to be educated. You have to have knowledge put into your head. You have to know how to read. And that's why Jewish people are successful. Because Jewish people value education and they teach their children to be intelligent by sending them to the best schools. When their children are young, they teach them to read everything. And good for them, man. You know, when you're a person who says they don't like to read and you don't like school and you don't like learning anything, you handicap yourself mentally when you're a dumb fuck who doesn't want to read and learn anything and educate yourself and do your own research. Now, when you have a culture like that of people who say people who read and educate themselves are nerds, what happens is you have a large mass of people who are stupid, easily fooled. I mean, the mass media could go out and tell everybody to go get injected tomorrow, and 70 or 80% of the people would do it because they're stupid fucks who never like to read and they didn't educate themselves and they don't do their own research. You also drastically limit your opportunities when you don't educate yourself and read. The less knowledge you have in your head, you can't make as well-informed a decision as somebody else who has tons of knowledge in their head. I remember when I was growing up, my father was constantly reading a book. Constantly. Whenever I would come home, he'd be sitting on the couch and reading a book. And he read book after book after book after book. And anytime I would ask him a question, he always had the answer. I was like, how do you know everything? And he said, I read, son. So I grew up seeing my father read constantly. And then I started reading. And I've read constantly my whole life. And I filled my head with knowledge. A child's born into the world. They don't know anything. You have to fill their head with knowledge if you want them to be intelligent. So if you want your children to be successful, you need to teach them to read when they're young, okay? And fill their heads with as much knowledge and information as possible so they learn how to make their own decisions and to do their own research. Knowledge is power. Now don't be a dumb fuck. Go read a book. End of video. Just mind your business.